Hey, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kwakadash Yahweh, who the word inly calls God, Yahweh Shai, who the word inly calls Jesus. I want to give a double honor to the apostles of the great millstone who have taught me this truth. I want to give a peace and blessings to the I came across the four corners of the earth, who teach the truth and mercy like to do. So it's going to be a quick video. Lord, when the video is edifying, only I can get something from this video. I'm going to grab a couple of precepts here in Psalms 51. And I'm gonna go to the blue letter and get the term free spirit and go from there. And again, it's gonna be a quick, right to the point video. And again, Lord, when it's edifying to you, Akim, and you sisters that watch the video. This is Psalms 51:9, and this is really something that we should have in mind, the mindset that we should have, being that we know, that we were, wicked, you know what I'm saying? And we went off and we go off, you know what I'm saying, daily. And it's truth. That's why you can never be proud, because it's like you always fall short, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I fell short many a time. You know what I mean? I damn near fall short every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's all learning experiences and learning lessons. And really, to be honest with you, in certain situations, you realize that it calls for growth. And you realize that during the situation and after, specific situations, after it's done, right, you come across, you like, man, you know what, I could have handled that better. But even in the moment, you knew you could have handled it better. You know what I'm saying? And you chose not to. You know what I'm saying? In that moment. And it's situations like that where you got to call yourself out on that shit. Because that's the only way growth happens. You know what I'm saying? You got to call yourself out on that shit. Like, you know what? We got wisdom. You know what I'm saying? These people don't. You got to have enough wisdom and enough wits, smarts to think for people sometimes, and to think your way out of a situation that you've got in. You know what I mean? And it's not always about being right to a fool. A fool is a fool, or an ignorant person. An ignorant person is an ignorant person. You're not arguing the fact that if you're right or wrong. I'll give you an example, right? You had Vocab come up to the camp. You know what I'm saying? He sent one of his little minions this past Saturday, and the Saturday before this, he came up with his crew and all that shit. And, it was a little bit of an engagement back and forth. But when you deal with people like that and you see people like that, you come to the conclusion that it's not about the scriptures. It's about their own will or views or whatever, right? It's not about the scriptures. But what they'll do is learn a couple scriptures and use our zeal that we have for the Lord for their views, because people love to see people go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be wise enough, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, you have to be wise enough to understand that, identify that, and get yourself out the situation. You know what I mean? Regardless of what emotions is involved, get yourself out the situation. It could be a situation with your family. It could be a situation with your, in the house, like whatever. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Well, all the time you got to use wisdom, but sometimes it'd be times where you have to, get around the situation, use wisdom to get around the situation. You know what I mean? It's not always about, again, who right and who wrong. Some motherfuckers want to be wrong, and they'll use your morale and your morals, to get energy from you, to drain you, to fuck up your day because they miserable, whatever. You got to identify that and move around. Okay? And don't sin. You know what I'm saying? Because this person, it could be your family, man. It could be your mama. That, like, don't allow people to get you out of character. And that's basically like the topic of the day today. I mean, I was on the phone with hours about a situation that happened today. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing was, you know what I'm saying, don't allow people to get you out your character. Because some people just want to get you out your character because it helped them sleep good at night. You know what I'm saying? Some people just, but you got to be smart enough not to feed into that shit. Right? And it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? But that's why we need the Lord, because, man, we're not perfect. We fucked up. Okay? But anyway, let's get into this. Psalms 51:9. It says, hide thy face from my sins and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Yahweh, and renew a right spirit within me. Right? And this is something that we should be asking, because it's like, again, man, we need it. We need it. And we go off. We need the Lord, man. We need mercy. We need salvation. We need protection. So you need protection from your own mind sometimes, from your own thoughts, from the old man tugging at you. You know what I'm saying? It says, cast me not away from thy presence and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. And that's a prayer you ought to pray every day. I'm talking to myself first and foremost, man. Because it's like, at any given moment, if the Lord don't want you to have it, you ain't gonna have, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you gotta always be humble and merciful, you know what I'm saying? And use wisdom. Use the things you've been taught to get out of situations. You know what I mean? Like, we represent this truth, man. And again, we fall short. I fall short, you know what I'm saying? But learn from the mistakes, graduate, move forward. Okay? Psalms 51:11, it says, cast me not away from thy presence and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Psalms 51:12, it says, restore unto me the joy of thy salvation and behold with thy and uphold me with thy free spirit. Okay. Now Psalms 51. What was that in 12? Let's grab that in blue letter. Psalms 51:12. Let's get that word for free spirit. And what does it mean? Come on, blue letter. All right. Like, yeah.
Strong's H 5081. Nadiv.
So that word there is Nadiv. I don't know if bros can hear that. I clicked on the speaker, but that word there is Nadiv. It says inclined, willing, noble, generous. Inside it, inclined, willing, noble, princely in rank, noble in mind and character, noble one. Okay, this is the spirit that you have when you come into this truth, because you're learning history, you're learning law, statutes, commandments, you're learning how to be godly, what it is to be godly, right? How to move godly in situations, how to use wisdom in situations. You know what I mean? Like how to be, because we were niggas in the world, man. So when you come into this truth, you the opposite of that. You're the opposite of that, man. You know what I'm saying? You like, man, you the opposite of that. Your actions, your thoughts, your ways, your words, the way you think, how you move. It's all opposite of a nigga once you come into this truth. Okay? And that's what it's about. And that's part of repenting, man. Okay, this is Colossians 3. And I brought this out a couple of videos ago, but I'll bring it out again. It says, let me get to the point. It's Colossians 3 and 5. It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. It says, for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them. So we did these things. Okay. It says, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds. So the old man probably had all these traits, filthy traits. You know what I'm saying? All the traits opposite of, virtue, opposite of noble. You know what I'm saying? But what? Coming into this truth, right? Getting washed by the water, of the word, you start to put off these things and you start to understand. Oh man, my son crying. You start to understand why. You start to understand why you can't have these traits, and because you start seeing how you used to be. On, like, when you look at these like that, I used to be like that. It ain't stuck in it, but you not. You became illuminated, like it says in Hebrews 10 and 32. You know what I'm saying? Once you become illuminated, you become in the know, you become awakened and enlightened, and you realize, like, man, all these traits I had, I got to put it off. And it don't amount to shit, no way. Especially, the first step is fearing the Lord. When you fear the Lord, you're going to change your ways, man. Okay, it says, lie not to one another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. In knowledge, wisdom, this truth, understanding what it is. Okay? You are renewed in this. Reborn in this. This is what make you change. The fear of the Lord is what make you change. You know what I'm saying? That's what make you change, man. And it's a fight every day. You got to change. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. You have to change. Find out where you're weak at and change it. So if it's communication, change it. If it's the way you think, change it. If it's your temptation, change it. If it's your lust, change it. If you're doing too much of one thing, even though it's lawful, but you know it's too much, change it. And again, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. That's what it's about, changing and growing. Nothing wrong with change. Nothing wrong with growth. But let a nigga tell you there's everything wrong with it because he's stuck in the same place. Don't be that. Grow. Okay, hey, so with that, man, loading videos, edifying, lonely, active. Got something for this video. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash.